Hello everybody, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator once again. I cannot believe we are doing another hurricane hunting mission today. This has been a wild hurricane season, and this is a Category 5. Milton is right now off the Yucatan Peninsula. So we have Gonzo here once again. We're firing up the APU, getting things ready to go, pre-flighting the airplane before we go on this mission today. We're expecting sub 900 millibar in the center of the storm there in the eye wall. So we're expecting our altimeter to be right around the 26.45 or more than that for the most part. We're going to simulate checking out all of that by hitting the B key repeatedly in the storm. All right, let's look at the weather here in the sim itself, the data from MeteoBlue and what we can expect on our flight today. So we've got our plot here. We're going to go north, and I've got a custom waypoint there and a custom waypoint here. That should get us through the eye of the storm for the most part before we head off east to Cancun. All right, folks, we are back here in the flight deck of the Longitude. We've got things pretty much set up here. We've got the APU running, and we're going to be ready to fire up the engines and get on our way. We're going to check our stab trim, make sure we're in the green this time. Last time we were just kind of messing around and we didn't do a good job of that. So over here on the left-hand side, we're going to go to our speed bugs. We're going to make sure that we have V1, VR, and V2 set, which is going to be V1 at 128, rotating at 130, 142 will be V2 today. All right, we have the weather radar on, as we will definitely be needing that, and we're ready to fire this thing up and get on our way. Let's get our anti-collision light on, let them know we're going to be firing up the engines. And to start the engines, pretty simple in this airplane. We're just going to open this guy up, we're going to hit run, close it back up, and then we're going to hit right to start the right engine. As you can hear the APU doing its thing. All right, we got a good start on engine number 2. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on this side. I'll put this one into run. All right, we got 2 good engine starts there. We've got 4.9 on the stab trim there. We're flaps 1 for departure. A big thanks to Thrustmaster for sponsoring today's video. We've got the Boeing TCA yoke that we have right here we're doing our flight control test with. And then we have the TPRs and the Boeing throttle quadrant. I have 2 of those. That is part of the TCA series as well. Let's open the Navigraph charts here and just look at the weather here at the airport before we get rolling. We've got Merida International that we're at right now. Winds are 270 at 15, 3 miles of visibility, light rain, broken at 1,000, overcast 7,000, altimeter 2950. So that altimeter is dropping since the hurricane is just to the north of us. All right, let's bring our floodlight down so we don't need that anymore. We're going to have a taxi light on, and we are ready to taxi. Going to release that parking brake there, and we're going to make a turn out here to the right. We're going to be taking off on runway 28 today, so we got a little bit of a taxi ahead of us before we can get airborne and head north towards this hurricane right now. For those of you that are in the path of Milton, I really do hope y'all have a plan in place. This is a historic hurricane currently right now. You know, once it gets closer to making landfall, it'll be a Category 4, you know, lower 4, upper 3, right along there. But that doesn't mean that the storm surge isn't going to be crazy, like 12, 14 feet or whatever, especially in the Tampa Bay area and around that spot. But, you know, when you look at Orlando and the whole central area there, you're not out of the woods yet. You know, after it makes landfall, it will stay a hurricane and we'll see how that kind of progresses as it happens. But yeah, it's not something to mess around with. And if you are in the path of it, just know I'm thinking about you. We're having fun in the sim, and we're just gonna check out the hurricane to see what measurements we get in the simulator. As you know, I have a huge passion in weather and in flight sim as well, so in aviation for that matter. So those are all those things combined, which makes me interested in doing these flights. And a lot of you like the last one, so we're being as respectful as possible. We're doing an actual hurricane hunting mission here today. We're gonna test and see what the winds are like and what the pressure is there at the eye. If we can get to the eye as close as we possibly can. All right, we got 10,000 feet set right there. We're going to be entering the runway as we are going to start to make our way down to 28, and we have to turn around to take off. We're going to take all of the runway we possibly can get here today. No messing around, that's for certain. Merida traffic, November 49er Romeo Fox, taking off runway 28, north departure, Merida. All right, we're down here at the end. We're going to turn around, and we are going to take off up to 10,000 feet, runway heading, and then we'll engage nav, and we'll get on our course that we have laid out. So here we go, y'all. Runway 28's verified. Inside and outside. Let's go flying. Bring them on up. Stable. And take off power. Is set. 80 knots. You want to rotate. Take much in this airplane. Gear up. And now we're going to go ahead and set ourselves on nav here. Getting down a little bit more. There we go. Let's pull our power back just a hair here. And we are on our way. All right, we've cleaned up the airplane. Flaps are up. Gears up, everything's good to go there. We're climbing at about 240 knots right now, 6,000 feet. Turning on course now to go north. And then that second track will take us to the eye for the most part. But we're going to go and continue our climb to 10,000 feet right now. All right, almost about to level off here at 10,000 feet, 230 knots. Add a little bit more power here. We're going to be in our cruise in just a moment. The altimeter itself, we're at 2943 right now, so it did indeed drop. There is 10,000 feet right now, and we have a altitude capture, but we're starting to see the wall of this storm off to our northeast right now, and it looks pretty intense, but we're going to punch through it at 10,000 feet. We're not going to go above that, but maybe after we make a couple passes inside of the hurricane, we'll go higher up and see if we can get a better view of it from way above. All right, we're over our first waypoint, now making a right-hand turn towards our second, and we can see pretty much the eye wall right in this region. You can see the heavy precip wall right here on the south side and the north side of it, so that's what we're determining what is the actual hurricane itself. I mean, look at that. Pretty darn defined. You can see it spinning right around. This is the eye right here, so once we get a little closer, we're going to make that left turn, and we should be able to punch into the eye itself. So looks pretty darn impressive here on the radar for what I'm seeing so far. But yeah, you see the white caps down there on the water. This thing is not messing around. Let's do our first change on our altimeter, and we're at 29.24 right now, so nothing crazy, but we're expecting differences once we get into the actual hurricane. We backed off our speed just a little bit as we're about to penetrate the outside of the hurricane here, because my oh my, this thing is packing a punch. A lot of wind we're getting slammed by right now as it stands. I'm on autopilot, so we're just kind of along for the ride right now. Nothing crazy deviation-wise as far as positive and negative. So no updrafts and downdrafts slamming us yet, but that might change as we get closer to the eye here. So I'm thinking this thing has moved a little further to the east on us. So we're going to continue this track for now. We're going to go into heading mode in a minute. We're going to target this northern spot for the eye of the storm itself, because this seems pretty kind of torn apart. Looks really good on the right-hand side there, but nothing on the left there that would define it. So that looks like more of the eye to the north of our position, northeast of our position. All right, about to go through the inner wall here, and the eye should be just on the other side of this. This is going to be a rocky one here. Yeah, we're starting to get our updrafts and downdrafts. Woo! Look at that wind change right there. Look at the deviations happening here. There we go. We're going to have to go, just keep it on the autopilot for now. She is struggling right now. She is struggling. Let's pull our power back here. We are really getting rocked by some winds here. Holy moly, man. All right, cool. Slow her down a little bit. Airplane's doing what it can. There we go. We just had to slow down. We just got slammed by a tailwind there. There it goes again. Look at it, just absolutely tossing us here. Crazy, crazy. What do we got here? We've got 2884 right now as we get closer to the eye. So these winds are no joke. I am idle winds. We are just getting thrown almost to the structural limits of the airplane right now, as we are now getting a massive headwind here. Get off autopilot. Okay, pull it back a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Spinning us. Absolutely rocking us right now. We're good. We're good. We're almost to the eye here, so just hang on to it a little bit longer. We should be able to get right back on our autopilot. Looks like it smoothed out a little bit right here. So, wow, what a change that was. And let's do another test. We're at 2885 right now on the altimeter. Wow, that was wild. Absolutely wild. I mean, it just, I was waiting for the winds to hit us, and it finally did, but man, we were just skating through those clouds. That was crazy. Now we're about to break into the eye right here. You see the blue skies just ahead. So, oh my Lord. So the sim does a pretty darn good job. Like, I'm very impressed. I mean, look at this. This is the hurricane right here, the whole thing. And we're about to get into the eye of the storm here. And just like that, folks, we are in the eye of the storm. This is unbelievable. Look at the structure on this in front of us. absolutely amazing. Okay, add our power back here. We don't need to get slow again. But you know what we talked about before? This has been a historical hurricane in the fact that it was the lowest pressure that was recorded in a Category 5 hurricane by the hurricane hunters that was sub 900 millibars. So I think it was like 897 or something like that is what they reported on one of the probes. So it's been absolutely insane. So it's no joke. Like I said, there we go, 2892. We're probably not going to get those lower pressures that we would get in real life, but it's very well done here in the sim, as you can see. I'm very blown away just how accurate it was to punch through that. Man, look at this. What a insanely tight eye wall on this thing. And I was looking at the satellite imagery on Milton earlier today, and you could see that well-defined eye wall there, but when you look down, you could see the ocean. It was that open, like what we're seeing right here in the sim, which is just wild. But yeah, talking about that, you know, this is a dry eye wall, meaning that dew point and that temperature is getting, you know, pretty much split apart. And that's what we're seeing here. This is just insane. Holy moly. Look at how well-defined that wall is in front of us there. So we're going to continue here. We're going to go ahead and punch through the north end of the eye wall, take some readings here at 10, then we're going to go up to 15,000. We're going to cross through the eye wall a few times, and then eventually we're going to climb up higher and higher so we can get a view of everything from above. This is not that bad right here on the north side. We're just about to get into the worst of it here shortly. But remember that, you know, the winds are going to be much higher at the surface level, not at 10,000 feet. Why don't we fly lower? Well, it's a sim. Yeah, we could do that, but we're kind of replicating a realistic hurricane hunting mission for the most part. We don't want to get that low to the ground because you saw what happened when we flew through the outer edge of that wall there. If we were at a low altitude, we probably might have hit the ocean, especially if the downdraft would have taken us there. So we're just being nice and safe during this mission today. And right now, it seems pretty calm through here. This is not that bad. So we're going to go ahead and make a left turn now. And we're going to head to the west of this storm. And we're going to climb up to 20,000 feet here. So we want to see if we can see the hurricane a little better. And it's still a pretty well formed eye. It's massive though. Look at it, it goes all the way around back this way. And we're going to go ahead and start our descent now. We're starting to pick up a little bit of that tailwind. Let's pull our power back. We're going to start our descent down to 10,000 feet so we can turn around and then go through this over here on the right. We'll see what's going on with that. All right, I've been circling down here at about 10,000 feet. There's not a lot happening on the southwest side of the hurricane, but you can see right here we got some pretty intense precip happening on the east side. So we're going to cross back through that, and then we're going to go through that, and then we'll continue our way to Cancun today. That's what we got going on. So we're just keeping this turn this way. About right there should be a good heading. That'll get us back to the east. But yeah, you can see that wall right there. That's what we're looking for. And this is pretty much the what's remaining of the eye right now. So it's been going through some changes, that's for certain. So right now we've been flying for about an hour and 20 minutes, and we're at 4,180 pounds of fuel. So we still have plenty of fuel to get back to Cancun, no problem. But I do want to see what's going on the east side of the storm. I had to fly around it for a while and kind of wait for Media Blue to update. And now we're starting to get more of that crazy wind and rain in this section right here that was not there before when I was flying around. So this should be an interesting journey through this section. I can already feel the energy off of this. It seems pretty wild. Let's do a altimeter check here real quick. 2885 right now, maintaining 10,000 feet. And as we enter into this, we're going to pull our power back because we know last time it just threw us around. All right, nothing too crazy right now. We're just kind of picking up some cloud turbulence. We're going to be hitting this heavier precip here shortly. A lot of holes and broken spots here in this line. Nothing like it was before, that's for certain. But man, that is pretty incredible how it's creating this eye right here. Really cool indeed. Let's do an altimeter check. 2888 right now. So it's increasing as we fly away from the eye. So that's the best way we can find the eye of the storm, is by just getting the lowest reading we can on the altimeter. That really does help. All right, that was a lot more rockier than I was expecting there. Look at that red back there that's starting to form on the backside there. So I'm sure that was just as crazy. But yeah, there's those southern winds slamming us. That's what I was expecting. And we're starting to get it as we get further away from the hurricane right now. So man, what an incredible flight this has been. And just like that, we have broken out of the worst of it. Look how much worse it's getting right back there behind us now. That is crazy. Just, needed the sim to update a little bit. I could fly around this hurricane over and over again and go through those really bad spots there. But, man, what a difference it makes whenever it intensifies like that. So now we're headed back to Cancun. We're about 112 nautical miles out from our destination. We're just going to hang out here at 10,000 feet all the way back. No problem. Let's bring our power back up. so we can cruise along here at a higher speed since we are out of the hurricane. Now it's 12 right, 111.1, 125 on the course. All right, 125 is set, and we're headed towards the final approach fix now. Localizer's alive, nav mode. And then we will arm the approach from here. Approach is armed. We got the localizer right now. We're gonna be 10 out, so we're gonna put the gear down. We got glide slope capture right there, pulling our power back a little bit. Yeah, it's a little hazy out, so I'm okay with taking the ILS in today. All right, we're gonna go our next notch of flaps. Pull our power back even more. All right, wonderful, y'all. Time to land runway 1 to right here into Cancun today. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect the master autopilot, my airplane. Let's land. Still want to be shooting this at about 130 or so, because, man, that wind is not messing around right now. It's usually the way these things go when we do a flight into adverse weather. We deal with it in every facet of flight. It's a little bit less, yeah, nose trim down here. Barely make out the pappies, but it looks like we're a little tad high. I'm okay with the speed though. We're right on the glide right now. Got my aiming marker right there. It's those big, huge white squares, the aiming point.
200.
There we go. Yellow. Throw out the crab with left
30,
rudder, right,
20,
aileron into the wind. And come on down, baby. Come on down.
10.
There we go.
Low. Terrain.
Yeah, terrain. Versus coming out. I'm gonna roll this thing down to the end. So I wasn't really worried about runway length too much here today. Maintain center line. That wind. Awesome. Stow them. Exit the runway right here. And we have made it here to Cancun. And our parking's going to be down on the left. So let's clear the runway. And clean up the airplane.
$50, $40, $30, $10.
Too low. Terrain.
$100, $50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Too low. Terrain.
right, let's taxi into the ramp here. And we will shut everything down. What a day of flying. Boy, we saw it all, didn't we? This thing is definitely packing a punch. So, again, hopefully y'all are safe and you're prepared for Milton if you're in the path of it. I'm thinking about you guys that are dealing with it. And, you know, I don't live in Florida anymore, so I'm back in Missouri. So a lot of people asked me last time if I was okay. And yeah, I'm all right. But yeah, I can't imagine living down where I was in Newport Richey right now with this happening. So hopefully it starts to fall apart before it makes landfall, you know? That's what I'm hoping for here. All right, cool. Come to a stop right here. Parking brake is set there. Taxi light can come off. And we are going to shut her down, shall we? All right, we're going to set these to stop. Shut the engines down. All right, folks, thanks for flying along with me today into Hurricane Milton. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Again, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time.